Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and get settled in as I walk you through my setup for next week. I've had a busy filming week, and one of the downfalls of life when you're a few fingers short of a full set is that if I do too much doodling in 1 week, my fingers get sore and achy, and suddenly doodling turns from really enjoyable to an endurance marathon really quickly. So in an effort not to be beaten and blind determination to battle through the pain, I've gone for a new style weekly that's a lot quicker to set up while still being colourful and exciting. I'm just block lettering the days of the week and separating these up with a love heart banner for each one. Hopefully you've seen my tutorial for this little banner over on my previous video, but if you haven't, I will link it in the description box below. My January theme was centred around a lot of blue tones, and I made a conscious effort to have predominantly blue colours running through my weeklies. Points if you did notice that in any of my videos this year. For February, pink has been my colour of choice, and whilst I'm not going to hold myself to it as a rule, I'd like to try and keep a pink element for all of my February weeklies. That being said, this weekly is the transition week between January and February, so I'm going to try and incorporate both pinks and blues to try and merge the changing of the month. So on top of my 2 daily spaces, I'm going to have a box for notes because I always find that quite handy. I will have a tracker. I've got a little box on the left hand side of the page at the bottom that's going to be sort of my best memory from the week, so I think that'd be quite a nice thing to add in. And I'll also have a calendar so I can see the crossover between January to February. And what would my layout be if it didn't have some form of mistake in some way in my journal? So I've put here under week 5 on the top left, I've wrote in that it's the 28th of Feb to the 3rd of March. That's definitely not where we are. But of course I don't know that at this point, so I'm carrying on colouring, doodling, trying not to focus on the pain and just enjoy the moment of doodling, completely unaware that I'm a month ahead of myself, so watch out for that lovely point in the video where I realised that I've made yet another mistake. So I'm going to go in with my Faber Castell red line markers to colour in these love hearts. The benefit of these markers for me is that their nib is quite fine, so for these smaller details of doodling it's really good to get in all of the nooks and crannies of the spaces that you want to colour in. So I highly recommend these. So I'm just alternating between I think about 4 or 5 different pink colours. Not that you can see it, but the pink that I'm using now is different to the pink that I've been using in the love hearts. And I always look at these 2 pens and think, oh, these are 2 shades, and then I put them in my journal. I'm like, are they 2 shades? Because they look very similar. I'm going to go in with all of my header boxes and my note pages. I'm going to use quite a blue purple so that I can sort of go from pinks to a purpley blue and then into the actual blues to keep the theme running. And for that blue, I'm using the Tombow dual brush pen. This blue came out of the pastel set. It's a nice way of doing these lines in all of this weekly, just to add lots more colour for very little effort, which is a bonus for me this week. Which is also why I've not used a ruler this week at all. I've decided that that's far too much effort and I haven't got the mental headspace to deal with putting in nice crisp lines. I actually think that not having a ruler and just going freehand was really easy. I think because you're using a dot grid, it just becomes quite natural to draw your straight lines in, and there wasn't the need. So stay tuned, I might just get rid of the ruler. Who am I kidding? I'm absolutely not. But for this week I am, and that's enough. So it's around this point that I realised that my dates are wrong underneath the week 5 box. So I go in with a Crayola Supertip black pen. I'm not quite sure if that was the right thing to do, but it's the thing that I did do. So I've gone in with a black Crayola and I'm going in with a white Jelly Roll pen to write over the dates. This Jelly Roll pen does take a little while for the colour to come through, so that will get lighter as I go. But that's it for this weekly. It's all set up, it's ready to go. I created it because I was struggling to be that artistic this week, and actually it turned out to be one of my most favourite weeklies. So what does that tell you about life and lessons in life? I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I shall see you soon.